everyone, it's Sharana from Pay Your Weights, and today I'm going to be reviewing Killing Eve Season 3, Episode 5, Are You From Pinner? So this episode picks up from where we left off at the end of last week's shocking episode that I still don't know if I necessarily healed from because it was just a lot that happened. It happened so quickly. I should have seen it coming, but I didn't see it coming. But yes, I'm still trying to get through and deal with the terms of what happened last week. So I guess this episode was a little bit of change of pace for us because it only focuses on one character, Villanelle. And so this kind of slows things down a little bit from where we were last week. We know that at the beginning, during the course of the season, we see that Villanelle is really trying to figure out where she came from, who her family is, where can she actually locate them. And after her killing someone for Constantine, he actually gives her the information as to where she can find her family. And so she shows up in Mother Russia. She shows up at this house, literally just walks in a house, don't knock, I didn't hear no doorbell, no nothing. Walks in the house, start looking at pictures, and I was like, well, what if she doesn't have the right house? What if Constantine lied to her? But he was actually telling the truth. So she's reading about all these different people who live in the house. One of the brothers, her half brother, is thinking that they Airbnb his room again. Then her little raggedy stepsister. Is it a stepsister? Her stepbrother. It's a stepbrother. Her half brothers. Child, I can't even keep up with this family tree right now. Her half brother's raggedy girlfriend has a little attitude with her as well. But she also has a cute little brother who I just simply adore, who loves the heck out of some Elton John. And so she asks if she gets acquainted with the family. They're kind of like, who are you? What are you doing here? Get out of our house. We're going to call the cops. But then we see that her brother actually walks in, her actual blood brother, her full brother, and he knows exactly who she is. He's like, Oksana. And then she kind of stares back at him. And then we realize, okay, she's actually in the right house. So these family dynamics are very weird, but mainly because of Villanelle. So it's weird because as she finally comes face to face with her mother, when she hears her mom pull up, she starts freaking out, trying to get out of the house. No one's trying to let her out because they're like, man, we still don't know who you are. So as she sees her, her mother kind of like, my baby girl is alive. And then she goes and hugs her. Villanelle is just standing there like, didn't hold her mom back. She just like, ugh, like, can't she get off of me? And so I find it very interesting that they choose season 3 to really go into who Villanelle is, where she comes from, to really give us a glimpse into why maybe she is the way that she is. And so we kind of get to see it slowly building up as she's kind of talking about her mother in more so of a negative way, always saying how her mother was mean to her. She wasn't a good mother. She wasn't there for her. But it's interesting to see the conflicting viewpoints between her and her older brother. Well, the oldest brother, but still younger than her because she was his big sister. And so it's interesting to see as they're having this conversation because she started talking about dad, and then he tells her like, hey, mom doesn't talk about dad, you know, and you really get to see how she never really felt love. I think the most emotion that we get out of her before we get to the end of the episode is when we see that she's having a conversation with her brother, who she was shading the heck out of, because she was just like, oh, you kept him? Like, why is he still here? What? I was like, girl, that's your brother. Why are you talking about him like that? But we see that they have a conversation, and she's like, hey, I thought you wanted to be a firefighter. What are you doing? Like, why are you still doing the same work that dad did? And then he tells her how he doesn't remember her. And she says, like, he was funny. He was smart. And so you can see that she talks about him in a good light. And so you can really tell that Villanelle had a very great relationship with her father, but we still don't understand where the breakdown was between Villanelle and her mother. And so we see that she's trying to get accustomed to the family. They kind of play this little family game at the table. She's looking like a fish out of water because you can truly tell that for once, Villanelle never really had a family life. She was delivered to the orphanage, which we find out that her mom actually gave her away to the orphanage, even though they told this whole story about how she set a building on fire. She died in the fire. That's what she told her brother. So he thought that she was dead. But really, her mom gave her child up because she couldn't handle her anymore. She couldn't handle the darkness that she saw within her child. And so I found it very interesting. It's really funny to see her trying to fit in as she's going to this big festival that the town is having. She's playing all these games. The lady got mad at her like, ma'am, do it one more time, okay? Go on somewhere else. You sitting up here messing up my money, my stuff that I have going on here. Go con someone else, okay? Because I don't have time for you. Then she did the poop flinging contest and she won the fan for winning first place. I was like, that's all y'all got for flinging poop around? I was just like, I don't understand. But did anyone think for a short moment when her brother takes her out to eat he's like, this is my sister. And then they were talking about how the lady in town, she always wins this cooking contest, and the little brother was trying to enter. I really thought she was going to end up killing that lady so her little brother could win the contest. But I was like, whew, thank goodness she did it. Because I was like, girl, you had me scared for a moment. But that doesn't mean that she was without killing someone before the end of this week's episode. But I thought one of the funniest moments of the episode, outside of just how much fun she was having at the festival, and also too dogging out her half-brother's girlfriend. She was like, what is this, your dance crew? And I was just like, their dance was not cute. I was like, so this what y'all got dressed up to do? It wasn't cute, boo-boo. But when we see that the family starts singing Crocodile Rock by Elton John, because little boy has such an obsession. He wants to save up enough money to go see Elton John in concert. I thought it was really cute, kind of the relationship between Villanelle and the little brother, how hard he was on himself, how he said that, you know, his mother told him that she disappointed him, or he brought disappointment to the family because he didn't win the cooking contest. You can kind of get a glimpse into what Villanelle was talking about. And she's trying to pry through all these people, you know, asking her brother, asking her stepfather, you know, what did she say about me? Like, how was she to you? She's a different person now than when I experienced life with her. She was very mean. She was very hurtful. And so we see all of this really come to a head towards the end of the episode. She's playing like this little prank. She has this blood coming from her eyes. It's like, Villanelle, girl, what are you doing? And so then we see that they kind of have this honest and open conversation where her mom tells her, like, you're not a child anymore. Like, you need to stop acting this way. And then she tells her that I want you out of the house. I don't want anything else to do with you. You need to leave. Do not bring your darkness into my house. And so this is, you know, someone who actually saw Villanelle for who she was. And she ends up telling her about how many people she's killed. And then her mother accuses her, like, hey, you're like, your darkness like hurt our family. It took it took your father from me. He could tell that you were going to do something to us, most importantly to me, just because of all the anger that she held against her mother. And so basically Villanelle confronts her as like, just be honest that you left me at this orphanage because you didn't want to admit that I am my mother's daughter. And so essentially saying the same darkness that you see inside of me is in you as well. And so I was just like, so mama going around killing people? Like, what was happening? Can I get a little backstory on her mama? But they were basically, she was like, you never cried as a baby. You were always difficult. Like, you took everything from me. And so they're having this back and forth. And so she's kind of just like, why won't you admit that you literally gave me away to an orphanage? And then she tells her mom, she was like, I think I need to kill you. And I was like, girl, hold on, you saying that to your mama? You think you need to kill your mama? Like, I know she ain't been the nicest person to you, girl, but like, don't do it, Villanelle. But we see towards the end of the episodes that we see that Villanelle goes and turns all of the gas on in the stoves. She basically leaves, she pours out some gasoline, leaves a lighter on the kitchen table. She closes all the doors so nobody can get out. And then we see that her little brother's alarm clock goes off. And then she has a note saying, like, if you want to see a surprise, go to the barn where her little brother finds the money that she's left for him, telling him to go see Elton John. And also, too, we get the little foreshadowing that her little brother, but the oldest brother out of all of them, he always sleeps in the barn sometimes so he can look at the stars. And we see that he was safe as well. And then as the little boy gets the money, the whole house explodes. And then we get a glimpse of her mother, who was already laying there dead. She already killed her mother. And Villanelle is just walking away. And this is really her, I don't know if this is necessarily the closure that she necessarily needed, because she never really got the answers that she wanted from her mother to admit that she gave her up, because she reminds her so much of herself, which I really didn't see coming. I mean, you saw that she like made the 90s outfit. She's like, no, I redid my 80s outfit for you, your measurements. You could tell that she was really broken up, but she was really happy that she was back. And even though her stepfather was telling her how she cries for her like every night, I didn't see it ending like this, but I was just like, wow. But even though I felt as though this was a very slow episode, I do think it was something that was necessary in order to give us a real glimpse as to who Villanelle is. The fact that she never had that family. You notice anytime her mother tried to embrace her, tried to touch her, anyone tried to get close to her, she would kind of like move her arms. She'd just be looking like, can y'all please not touch me? That she missed that family embrace. She missed that love that someone has. She had it from her father, but her father was taken away from her. And I think it's really heartbreaking to watch at the same time. Her confronting her mother about not wanting her, not loving her, for seeing her who she really is, but not being able to admit that she can only see her for who she really is because she is her. I think that was a very heartbreaking conversation to have with your mother, even though Villanelle decided like, girl, I'm going to have to kill you after this, but we're going to have this conversation. But we see emotion from Villanelle, you know, one of the first times outside of the emotions that she has for Eve. But as she's on the train ride going back to wherever she's going to, we see her trying to shake it off, trying to make it seem as though like this is nothing, it's okay, like I'm not tripping. But you see the tears form in her eyes. You see that she's very broken up, probably emotional for the first time of her having to kill someone. But I think it's very interesting to see how Villanelle will be going forward as she's had this confrontation with her past. Will this help her focus into trying to be a handler? But most importantly, what is going to happen once she finds out that she has been framed for killing Nico? What is that going to look like? I'm sure she's going to try to reach out to Eve. I'm sure she's going to try to tell her like, hey, this had nothing to do with me. But most importantly, I'm pretty confident she's going to kill Dasha after figuring out what happened, because she's gonna be like, who else will frame me for something like this? So I'm interested to see how all of this is going to play out. But overall for me, while I still feel this was a filler episode and I didn't necessarily get all the oomph that I wanted from it, mainly because I'm going off of all the craziness that happened with last week's episode, I do think it was very important to explore who Villanelle was, where she came from, how she grew up, why she is the way that she is now. But those are pretty much my thoughts on Killing Eve Season 3, Episode 5, Are You from Penner? Let me know in the comment section below, what did you think about this episode? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you feel like it's a filler? Do you need them to up the ante for everything that's going to be happening for? We only have 3 episodes left. 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we only have 3 episodes left. But those are pretty much my thoughts on the episode. As always, my name is Sharonda from Pay Your Weight. And if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit the notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. I'll see you soon.